Good evening, Desert Sands Unified School District. My name is Sean Webb. I'm the Director of Community Engagement, and we are at a special edition of our halftime show. We're over at La Quinta High School, where we're going to be going live for the entire halftime here as they pay tribute to Hunter Lopez, class of 2017, and to Salvador Lule, class of 2019, as they honor them in their first ever Hometown Heroes football game. Very special evening here tonight. Started off with the classes of 2017 and 2019 from La Quinta High School as members of the Public Service Academy who all graduated with those students. And we have the families of both the young men here. And we've got a real special presentation where we're going to have Kevin Schmidt, who is the Public Service Coordinator, Public Service Academy teacher and coordinator, who's going to share about both the students as well as talk about just their experiences here at La Quinta High. A very special event. We've got the game on. I'm going to go ahead and bring that up on camera here so you can see. I'm working with our Desert Sands communication team and Desert Sands technology team. I've got Roke and Sean here that are assisting us with some cameras that we've never really played around with before, and it's kind of exciting. We also have Kevin Pillow here, who's joining us from Indio High School. Hello, Kevin. How are you doing? I know that he's also producing their game right now with their halftime.
We'll get to you, Sean.
Okay, you got it. No problem. We'll be back with you. But before we talk about everything else, and we bring on some of our guests and so forth, and we have Mr. Schmidt talk, as you can see, he's getting set up there. Just want to say thank you to Craig Campbell over at CoachellaValley.com for allowing us to stream on this platform and be able to share this event with each and every one of you. It's a very special event over at La Quinta High School. We have a very large screen, which you guys will see here shortly, that is roughly 10 by 20, and we're going to have that displayed with some messages, some pictures, and some beautiful things for the Lopez family as well as the Lule family. So we'll have that coming up soon. We have a camera set that'll be on the podium, and then we have a camera set that will be on the actual screen that will be showing here at the stadium of all the pictures of the family and the students and so forth. It's a very special night for Public Service Academy. It's unfortunate we have to celebrate the way we are, but I'm glad that we're all come back to be together for this. And I'm going to go ahead and bring up the football game here a little bit live so you guys can watch that. We'll be coming back to you shortly. We've got about 34 seconds left in the half. It's kind of great as we have the journalism students here at La Quinta High that are working with us and running these different camera angles. So it's always nice to get more student involvement with these types of things. We got one right on the sideline, and then we got one at the 50-yard line for cameras tonight. You see some of our student athletes there on the sideline at the 50 getting ready for the podium to come up, where Mr. Schmidt will go ahead and speak about the experiences of these students at La Quinta High School. He's very fortunate. I was actually at La Quinta High School as an assistant principal with both those young men, and I got to know them well as go on some field trips with them and experience some great times with them. So it's just a fantastic event for tonight. But we're here wrapping up the half. We're getting things ready. You can see the ticker on the bottom there with all the different scores going by. And as shared, we will be going live here from La Quinta High School with a tribute to hometown heroes, to Salvador Lule and to Hunter Lopez.
And that is the first half of the school. 7-9-5. The Blackhawks 2.
There you can see Mr. Schmidt, the Public Service Academy coordinator and teacher, preparing. And we're going to have him on a lapel mic so we can hear him clearly. We also have the other camera. I'll bring that up in view here too. We'll have another camera of the large screen that was donated tonight by various individuals in the community, as well as by various cities. We want to thank the City of Indio, City of La Quinta, Palm Springs Air Museum, West Coast Turf, the Uncle Ray Foundation, Matt Rifkin, and to Victory and Richard Grund for making the screen possible. But we have the colors coming out. I'm going to remove myself from the screen, and we will be ready to go live with the Hometown Heroes event here at La Quinta High School.
Please pay attention to the colors by our junior ROTC.
Colors.
Ready? There we go.
At this time, I'd like to introduce our Public Service Academy coordinator and teacher, Mr. Kevin Schmidt. He would like to share a few words in honor of our hometown heroes, Corporal Hunter Lopez and Lance Corporal Salvador Lule. Please direct your attention to our video screen, where we'll be sharing photos of our heroes during their time at La Quinta High School. Take it away, Mr. Kevin Schmidt.
Thank you for being here tonight. At this moment, to honor not one, but two of our hometown heroes, United States Marines, Corporal Hunter Lopez and Lance Corporal Salvador Lule, along with their families. The tragedy that struck these two heroes and their families hopefully reminds all of us that moments matter. We need to remember the moments and cherish the moments in our lives. Tonight, I want to share with you some of the moments that Hunter and Sal had while they were here at La Quinta High School. We are here to respectfully honor, celebrate, and hopefully learn from these heroes and their families. We all know of the horrific event that occurred at the Abbey Gate of the Kabul airport on August 26th. In that moment, the lives of 13 U.S. servicemen and women were taken, including our own Corporal Hunter Lopez. 18 other servicemen and women were seriously injured, including our own Lance Corporal Sal Lule. Now, in a minute, we would like to honor all of them. With a period of silence, sorry. Usually this is called a moment of silence. However, tonight we will have 15 moments of silence. I know, I need to explain. We'll have one moment for each of those killed in action, along with another moment to remember those servicemen and women that are still healing from their serious physical and emotional injuries. Finally, we need to include one last moment to recognize and honor all the families of these servicemen and women as their lives were forever changed that day. They are experiencing unimaginable grief and pain. They too face a long road of healing and recovery. So please stand and join me in 15 moments of silence. Thank you. Please remain standing for just another minute. Neither Sal or Hunter are here tonight physically. However, they're both here in spirit, and they always will be. Sal is not present tonight as he's still in the hospital in San Diego. He's healing from his injuries. However, the Lopez and Lule families are here tonight, and my heart aches for them. I can't even imagine what they're going through. We are here tonight to honor them as well as Hunter and Sal. These days, the term hero is used a bit loosely. I believe real heroes are the men and women that volunteer to put their lives in harm's way to protect others, just like these two young men. I don't believe heroes are just born. It's not some genetic accident. Heroes are forged in the families that raise them. That metal is shaped by their friends and experiences. In this case, that metal was eventually tempered and sharpened by the United States Marine Corps. Our heroes were forged in these two families. So please join me in applauding these two families and the heroes that they forged. Thank you. Please be seated. Have a seat. So here's a little bit about Hunter and Sal. Hunter graduated the Black Hawk class of 2017, and Sal graduated the Black Hawk class of 2019. We were lucky enough to have each of them spend 3 years in our public service academy. These two heroes shared a lot of qualities. Each of them displayed this quiet strength. Each of them had a sense of humor that you could miss if you weren't paying attention. They were kind, respectful, and always willing to give their time to help others. They were both well-liked by their peers. Both of them made plans for their futures. Both of them believed in service above self. Both of them chose to serve their country, and both of them chose to become U.S. Marines. Now, when I think back about Sal, the one thing that comes to mind is his smile. I mean, Sal had the greatest smile, he still does. His smile could light up a room. He also had the best head of hair I've ever seen. And you can see that in some of the pictures down there. I was super jealous of his hair. When I look back at all my photos of that class, Sal was actually in quite a few of them. He went on many of our field trips, participated in the community service events, and he always was around the PSA rooms. So one moment that I want to share with you, I remember this one time, we were practicing takedowns in our self-defense training. And Sal, he happened to be one of the tallest students in our program. During this training, they were practicing their takedowns. He got paired up with the smallest kid in the class, thanks to their genius teacher. So we're getting ready to do the takedowns, and of course, Sal does it just like he's instructed, and the kid goes flying. And legs are up in the air and right to the mat. It was pretty dramatic. And I remember the look on Sal's face. He was looking down like, whoa, what did I just do? He looked over at me like, am I in trouble? I'm like, no, Sal, you're good, man. Attaboy. That's the way you do it. He looked back down and saw the kid laughing, and he's, wow, let's do that again. Somewhere along the way, he made a plan for his future, and that plan included joining the Marine Corps. After boot camp, he came back to be a guest speaker in our academy classes, and I remember him being so squared away. He was so proud to be a Marine. He came back in his uniform. I mean, he was proud to be a Marine. And it was kind of funny because it was Sir this and Sir that. I remember we were, at the end of the day, we're sitting there, and he asked Mr. Diaz for permission to sit down. He said, sir, permission to sit, sir. And Mr. Diaz is like, of course, Sal, you can sit down. So what does he do? Instead of sitting in the chair next to us, he goes across the room and sits down in the same chair he sat in his senior year. The Marine Corps had definitely tempered and sharpened that metal. That's Sal Lule. That's one of my heroes. So now a little bit about Hunter. And My colleagues are a little bit worried that I'm going to get choked up at this part, but I'm going to promise you I'm going to do my best not to do that for a bunch of reasons. The main one being is I know that Hunter's watching tonight. If I get all teary and weepy down here, I know exactly what Hunter would say. He'd say, seriously, dude, suck it up, Buttercup. You got a job to do it. So let's do this. One of the things that really set Hunter apart from others was that he had a plan for his life. Apparently, he made this plan right after his parents brought him home from the delivery room. He planned to graduate high school and go to the Marines. He then wanted to join the Riverside County Sheriff's Office as a deputy. He eventually planned to become a SWAT team member. He was following his plan to the letter. And if you didn't know him well, you'd think Hunter was the most serious kid in school. However, under that serious face was a kind and caring young man with a pretty wicked sense of humor. He was a member of the Riverside County Sheriff's Explorer program out of the Palm Desert Station. And I remember this really well. One day during his sophomore year, I was teaching about how to use the penal code. And I messed up. I said one of the section numbers wrong. And Hunter politely corrected me. No, Mr. Schmidt, that burglary's 459 DC. And I remember at that very moment, I knew right then and there that Hunter had serious law enforcement skills, and I better tune myself up, bring my A game, or it's going to be a long year. That young man, he had his heart set on being a guardian. His goal in life was to make a career out of protecting others from the wolves. Now, most of you probably already know this, but for those of you that don't, Hunter's life was taken right after he and another Marine, Sergeant David Traylor, who happens to be here tonight, saved two young girls from being crushed at the Abbey Gate. Now, it's quite obvious to me, Hunter achieved his goal. He was a guardian, always looking out for and always protecting others. That's not a surprise to me. That's Hunter Lopez. That's one of my heroes. So let's honor both of these heroes. So let's honor both of these heroes by learning from them and this tragic moment. I'm not a Marine, I'm just a teacher, and this is what we do. So I hope you're paying attention. There might be a quiz. Oh, you like that? Okay. For those of you that are a little closer to my age, here's three things that I have been reminded in this tragic moment. The first is how important it is to focus on the big things in life. Family, friends, our relationships. We can't waste time and energy worrying about the little stuff we can't change. And second, the small things that we do for others around us can have a big impact down the road. So let's care for and show grace to those around us. And finally, let's remember, moments matter. Let's cherish the moments and be present in the moments, because in a moment, everything can change. For those of you over here in the birdcage, a little younger than me, here are three things that I want you to learn from this tragedy. First off, be like Hunter and Sal. Make a plan for your future. If you haven't already, you need to start making that plan now. Follow it. Make your dreams reality. And second, along the way, care for and protect others around you. Give people respect and grace. And also remember that moments matter. Make your moments and be present in the moment. Be like Hunter and Sal. So, time for the quiz. Every branch of the military has a battle cry. It's a word they use to show enthusiastic agreement, solidarity, gut-wrenching devotion. It means, yes, we got this, we're with you. The battle cry for the Marines is "Oorah," no H, "Oorah." I'm going to borrow this from the Marines, and we'll give it back to them afterwards. So here's what I want you to do. I'm going to ask you a few questions, and I want you to honor these heroes and their families with the loudest "Oorah" you can. So let's stand up for this one. Come on, you've listened to me long enough. Let's do this all together. Let's make sure the neighbors can hear it. Let's make sure Dr. Wilson gets the calls tomorrow. Okay? Here we go. I'm going to ask you the question, and you're going to give me the biggest "Oorah" you can. You got this. First off, will you focus on the big things and not sweat the small stuff you can't change? Oh, yeah. Will you care for and show grace for those around you? Will you make moments matter? Will you be like Hunter and Sal and make a plan for your future? Are you going to be present in the moment and make the moments matter? All right, these last three, bring it, okay, like a unified force, like the Marines. To Lance Corporal Sal Lule, get well soon, Marine. To Corporal Hunter Lopez, rest in peace, Marine. Your service and your sacrifice will never be forgotten. Godspeed, Marines, Godspeed.
Let's hear it one more time for Mr. Kevin Schmidt.
Kevin Schmidt?
Yeah, Schmidt, S-C-H-M-I-D-T.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're a teacher here?
Yeah.
So there you had Mr. Kevin Schmidt address the audience here over at La Quinta High School for the football game between Shadow Hills High School and La Quinta. Mr. Schmidt, well said. Thank you very much for taking the time to do so. We do have our friends over at Indio High School and Palm Desert, which will be joining us shortly, where they have their games are going into half. Mr. Pillow, if you want to give me a thumbs up when you're ready, I'll bring you on screen here. Oh, he's got a thumbs down. He's not ready yet for us. He's got a couple seconds before they go to the half. But we're continuing on the second half of the football game here at La Quinta High School. You can see the various signage and so forth that's been put up. I want to thank also our friends over at Desert Dream Parties who set up this sign for us as well. It's very nice. Hometown Heroes sign here. Mrs. Curtis as well as Mrs. Christmas, thank you for that. Got a little podium shot of somebody's back of their neck there. That's okay. It happens. No, just a great atmosphere here. I'm going to bring Mr. Pillow on, see when he can start up with us and see what's going on over at Indio High School. I know that his microphone is muted, but we'll see if he can come join us here shortly to get a little update of what's going on over there.
Well, we got about 11 seconds to go until the half. It looks like might be about one or two more plays for 29 Palms. It is 21-7, a very questionable penalty against Indio here just a few moments ago has really stunned this crowd after it looked like they had some momentum going. But yeah, it's homecoming 2021 for Indio. Got some festivities going on. Hopefully get a little band action. But I got to go back. I got a live mic. I'll be right back.
So thank you, Kevin, for the update there. I know you got about 11 seconds before they got home time, halftime over there at Indio High School. They got their, their homecoming going on. So pretty busy night here at Desert Sand Schools. You got the game going on over at Palm Desert and check and see if Mr. Killian will be joining us. See what's going on over with his game. It seems like they're not at the half yet either, which is fine. Perfectly fine. But no, just a great evening over here at La Quinta High. I will give you a score update. We are at the half. La Quinta has 2, and Shadow Hills has 5. So you may think that's a baseball score, but no, that's the actual football score here. And in one game, we had 2 safeties. That normally doesn't happen. Pretty amazing here to have a 5-2 football game. What else would you expect when you have the 2 undefeated teams in the DEL right now? So we got that game coming here. You can see the referees are getting started. They're going to have both teams come out here shortly. I believe we got Mr. Pillow there. Kevin, you going to join us here for a little bit?
We are. We've got the homecoming festivities going on. I'm going to do my best to play with. I don't have all the technology. For those of you at home, La Quinta took all the technology. Indio got left with. We got a cool little. I wish I could turn the camera around, but we got a really cool little setup here. Not the traditional parades and whatnot, but they are about to unveil the king and queen. Now I don't have the answer, but I do have this. They're going old school. Got the program. Don't see this a lot in high school sports anymore. But we're going to see who the king and queen are going to be here in just a couple minutes. But you can see the scores below. Wild Night update for you, Sean, if you didn't hear already. Our friends at the Desert Sun reporting the Xavier Rancho Mirage game has been postponed. A power outage at Xavier High School has postponed this game to 11 a.m. tomorrow morning at Xavier. So we'll have to be delayed for what could be a spectacular Desert Empire League game. We got a wild one. Got a couple wild ones last night. Coachella beat Yucca Valley 20-15. Cathedral City all over Desert Mirage 45-0. I know that DHS has had a wild couple of weeks. They're in a kind of a rough game tonight against Banning. I know a couple of weeks ago against Coachella, their ride home ended in a bus crash. Everyone's safe though. But hopefully they can bounce back against the Broncos in the second half. So we'll keep an eye on the Golden Eagles as they, again, 24-6, they're at the half. But like Sean, like you said, a baseball game is broke out at a football game. This is not a typical Shadow Hills La Quinta game. It's always been kind of lopsided. Shadow coming in on the poor end of the score sometimes. But hey, Coach Escobar's got Shadow Hills believing in themselves, and Patrick has really kind of turned things around. This has been a spectacular year for Bubba and the Blackhawks. I'm really proud of how he's turned that program around. And kudos to La Quinta, not giving up on the big guy. He's a heck of a coach. He's a great leader for that program, and him and my brother go way back, so I got a little family bias. But
there you go.
We got a barn burner here, 21-7. It got exciting here toward the half. A little questionable call. For those who don't know, there was a sack on the play, but it was one of those.
Hey, we got people here live. We got Mr. Fajardo, Shadow Hills principal, stopping by real quick.
How you doing,
Say
everyone?
hello.
Hello, everyone.
Always good to see a Trojan.
Right on. We got a baseball score going on, but hopefully at halftime,
we were just talking about the baseball score.
Right?
Good seeing you, Mr. Fajardo.
I tell you one thing, I've seen some classic Shadow Hills La Quinta baseball games, and who knew that it would carry over into a football game. But just to let some of the fans that are watching here, before the half, Indio got to the quarterback for 29 Palms, had him stood upright, and forward momentum had them, quote, sacked the quarterback for 29 Palms. Indio threw their hands up when they heard the whistle and said, okay, we're done. And the referee immediately threw a penalty and gave the Rajas a 15-yard unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. Of course, no score came out of it, but Coach Hayes really kind of pitching his argument at the end of halftime, almost being ejected, but he was trying to calmly explain what happened, that the player realized, hey, I didn't want to get called for unsportsmanlike conduct. Threw his hands up to go like, hey, I'm done touching him. And apparently the referee didn't see it that way. But the Indio faithful here almost came unglued over that one. But, Sean, just again, I want to give a shout-out to the young men and women here at the Indio halftime. I think the Princesses and Queen's Court, we have Diana Cruz, Itzi Guerrero, Iram Leva, Maria Martinez, Amaya Rodriguez, all part of the homecoming court.
Okay.
Gil Salcedo, Thomas Ramirez, Kenneth Rojo, Miguel Milan, and Noe Morales, all on the King's Court for the Raja. So I want to give some shout out to the Royal, the homecoming Royals, so to speak, for Indio High School. Again, not your typical parade like we saw at Shadow Hills a couple of weeks ago, who have already had their homecoming. But hey, crowd nonetheless excited out here. You can kind of hear faintly in the background from my microphone that still a great crowd out here at Indio High School.
No, I love that you guys are having homecoming. You're able to do that, Kevin. It's fantastic. I am actually going to head out. I'm going to let you kind of wrap up the show here. We do have some of our, I'll flat out say, we got some dignitaries here that are here with the Lule family and the Lopez family I'm going to go catch up with. But Kevin, thank you again for joining us at the halftime show here. I love that we've made this a thing, and I look forward to continuing on for other sports throughout the seasons.
I look forward to it as well, Sean. And I guess, like Sean said, of course, thanks to our friends at the Desert Sands Educational Foundation. If you want to, you can always get involved by donating. And I, of course, my script here, I lost the phone number, but we will get that.
You know what? I will always put that phone number up there, Kevin. That's no problem. No, but you know what? Honestly, tonight's not all about Desert Sands Educational Foundation. Tonight's about honoring hometown heroes and honoring the people of Indio and Palm Desert. So I greatly appreciate the shout out. I'm gonna sign off here. You enjoy the rest of the halftime show, Kevin, and good luck with the rest of your game.
Thank you very much, Sean.
We'll see you.
And there, of course, Sean Webb, the Director of Community Engagement and the Educational Foundation. I do really want to send another shout out to the Hunter Lopez family. It breaks my heart. It's the absolute worst case situation with any parent is having to bury their children. And I just, as a parent, I cannot even understand or fathom what the Lopez family is going through. But again, my prayers to their family for that they can have ease of mind and whatnot. So I don't even know what to say. I do know that on behalf of the Rajah family, we do send our prayers to them and know that we as a community stand with the Lopez family, who has made the city of Indio their home for many, many years. It should be pointed out real quick, not to transition from such a heartbreaking loss, but we have had the king and queen crowned here at Indio High School, and it looks like the king is Thomas Ramirez, and pardon me that I don't know, I did not hear who the queen was. Itzi Guerrero is the queen. So always got to give a shout out to, and I'll see if I can, I hope this translates onto the screen here. For those who want to see, this was the Queen's Court. I know Sean took all the technology to La Quinta. Again, Itzi Guerrero, the queen for 2021. And of course, Thomas Ramirez, who of course will have to hurry back to the locker room for halftime. We got about 11 minutes to go, and we will have, I believe, a performance possibly by the band here at Indio High School, maybe. But nonetheless, I do want to again say thank you so much to Sean Webb at Desert Weber. If you want more information, you can also follow him on Twitter about the Desert Sands Educational Foundation. But like Sean said, it is the La Quinta High School Hometown Heroes football game between Shadow Hills and La Quinta High School. So, yeah, crazy night here at at Indio High School. And I don't know if we're going to get a performance or not by the band, but I'm waiting to see. Are they going to come down out of the crowd? I don't know. Doesn't seem like it. But there's the games going on right now. Let's take a look real quick and see if there is any other action going on. I know that Banning was all over Desert Hot Springs in that game. We don't see if they return back to the field in the third quarter or not. We do not see that yet. But it looks like Shadow Hills has gone into the end zone, and they have extended their lead with the extra point. That makes it, I believe, 12-2 in favor of the Shadow Hills Knights in the third quarter. It is right now 21-7 in favor of 29 Palms here at the half. Rancho Mirage and Xavier, that game has been postponed due to a power outage in Xavier Prep's campus. That game will now be moved to 11 a.m. tomorrow back at Xavier Prep. At the half, 10-0 in favor of Palm Springs. We talked about this. One of the most brutal schedules for any school in the Valley, hands down, has got to be Palm Desert. They open up against Palm Springs. We see there multiple drop passes tonight. That they're absolutely struggling in that game. That's a pseudo rivalry game. Next week is the flag game. La Quinta and Palm Desert play next week, and then it is the Kings of Cook Street in 2 weeks. They will wrap up the season against Rancho Mirage and Shadow Hills. So if all things go according to plan, Shadow Hills up by at least 2 scores right now on La Quinta. And Rancho, if they can set a precedent against Xavier tomorrow morning, this is setting up to be a brutal run, for the Palm Desert Aztec. Before we wrap things up here at the Desert Sands Educational Foundation halftime show, want to give a shout out to Craig Campbell at CoachellaValley.com for allowing us to use his platform, as well as want to say shout out to Chris Kulian at Palm Desert. Unfortunately, could not join us this evening. I'm sure we will bring him back in the coming weeks. Take a look at the league standings for the Desert Valley League before tonight. Coachella Valley, with their win last night, is in the driver's seat at 5-1, 3-0 in league play. Yucca Valley, tentatively in second place. Cathedral City had to forfeit a pair of games. They still win last night. They are no longer undefeated. They've lost a league game and a non-league game. 29 Palms, DHS, Banning, Desert Mirage to round out the bottom half of the DVL. Take a look at the Desert Empire League going into tonight's action based on overall standings. Shadow Hills at 5-0, Rancho Mirage at 4-0, first and second. La Quinta also 4-0, tied with Rancho Mirage. Palm Desert, Palm Springs, and Xavier Prep round out the bottom half. Palm Desert 4-1, Palm Springs 3-1, Xavier Prep 2-1 on the year. Don't forget, folks, if you want to get involved with the halftime show, you can do so. As always, hit us up on Twitter at PrepSports_net. And we recommend, as always, use hashtag DSEF halftime for any questions or comments that you have, or you can put it right here in the comment section, whether it be on YouTube or Facebook. Well, guys, thank you so much for allowing me to, as always, join you at any game that I just happen to be broadcasting from. We are here at Ed White Stadium. I am Kevin Pell, the one true voice of high school sports in the Coachella Valley, at Voice of Reason 23 on all social media platforms. At PrepSports_net gets you right here into the studio wherever we may be. And we thank you, as always, for everything you do, supporting all of the student athletes under those Friday night lights. We will see you next week with Desert Sands Educational Foundation halftime show. I'm Kevin Pell. Thank you to Sean Webb. Thank you to the staff of La Quinta High School. Also, a special shout out to Kevin Schmidt, the Public Service Academy Coordinator and teacher at La Quinta High School. And of course, as always, Hunter, rest in peace, sir. We will see you next week.